Hi and welcome to my showcase on Assignment Task 2 for EUB343. My name is Antonia and my tutors were Chris and Elise, and I attended the Tuesday 9 to 12 a.m. tutorial. So the school that I went to for my PECs was a metropolitan co-educational government school, including grades 7 to 12. It had a total of 906 students, including 12% of Indigenous students and 44% of students who had language backgrounds other than English. So it's quite a diverse school. The class that I'll be talking about for this presentation is my grade 7 maths class, where their age is about 12 to 13. This class had very mixed abilities and consisted of 25 students. So the learning intentions that I have used and that I used from Makara was to establish the formulas for areas of a rectangle, triangle, and parallelogram, and to use these in problem solving. And so my learning intention, specific learning intention, was to calculate the area of a rectangle, triangle, and parallelogram, and to use these in real life. So I used backwards mapping to construct my class. So I had in mind my desired outcome, and then I backtracked. So I created my diagnostic, and then my formative. I created another formative, and to lead into my summative assessment. So I started off with a diagnostic, and that we used that in the first 10 minutes of our class. And so I provided a copy for each of the students where they would write their names on the top. And I asked the questions to draw a 2D shape, to name or classify the shape, to measure the shape using perimeter and area, and to show all working out. So I collected all these diagnostic copies at the end of the lesson and took them home to correct and to provide feedback. And so the things that I was looking for was for an accurate drawing of the 2D shape, the matching name to the 2D shape, and the perimeter and area was calculated correctly, and that all working out was shown. So the next lesson, I had handed back the individual copies and addressed the common areas and misconceptions that a lot of the students had made as a class. So I used the diagnostics to find these and to give timely feedback. So this is an example of one of the students' diagnostic where I have provided his individual feedback and feed forward. So as you can see, I have acknowledged what he had done well. So that was being able to draw a 2D shape and to match it with the correct name of it. I have provided suggestions to improve. So as you can see, it looks like he has pre-drawn his shape. Not a lot, but there were some students who drew rectangles and had different side lengths, but named it as a square. So in order to make sure that he doesn't make this mistake, as other students have, I've suggested for him to use a ruler for next time as my feed forward. I've also provided other suggestions or advice. So with his answers, he has not shown any working out. I've underlined where it says specifically in the question. I provided questions about where his working out was, and also to use the correct unit measurements when calculating area. So I believe that my feedback is specific, accurate, and clear. I've used my feedback to provide specific guidance to how to improve, not to just tell them what they got right and what they got wrong. I've framed my feedback to encourage and support future effort. So on the screen, I have collected my data to show the patterns in students' response. It is a summary analysis of students' responses of what they've gotten correct. So that's this green part, and what they had gotten wrong and what they needed more help with. So I've also noted the misconceptions and common errors. And I have used these results to then inform my learning experience. So for my learning experience, I did a class concept map. We discussed what was perimeter and area, and where in real life you would use these and apply these concepts. Again, giving students the relevancy to the topic would encourage engagement. Relating mathematical concepts to real life examples gives students a deeper understanding. We continued to learn about calculating perimeter of an area of square, rectangles, and triangles, and we worked through guided questions using I do, we do, you do, to ensure that the students were ready for the next task, which was my formative strategy. So for my formative strategy, I had given them 2 worksheets. So this is my first one and this is my second one, to test the students' progress from learning experience. So after the time frame I had set for the students to complete the work, we went through the answers as a class. So I got the students to mark their elbow partner's work, provide feedback and feed forward with very detailed answers, as you can see here. So there are a lot of benefits from peer assessment and peer learning, and it is a very common practice in today's classes. So when providing feedback and feed forward, we emphasize on showing all working out. And this was one of the weaknesses a lot of the students had. So this way it would ensure that the students understood what was exactly expected of their answers. So before finishing the class, I asked the students to do a self-evaluation. The tracking sheets were scaffolded for students to identify what they might need further help with. I used this strategy to promote intrinsic motivation, internally controlled effort, and mastery of goal orientation and more meaningful learning. So I took both of the formative assessment and self-evaluations home to note all of the students' progress onto this spreadsheet. As displayed, there's still a small handful of students who might need a little bit more help, and there were some who needed a bit more time with completing the worksheet. However, in general, the students seemed quite confident with the content. So we moved on to our final formative assessment. I told the students to calculate the perimeter and area of as many things as possible they can find within and outside of the classroom. This was to target my kinesthetic learners who enjoy to learn from experience and doing things. It allows students to move around the classroom and gives students the autonomy to choose items of their choice. So this was to motivate them, to keep them engaged with the material. Students were to complete activity individually and work was handed in at the end of the lesson as exit passes. I reviewed each submission and provided feedback and feed forward where they would revise their work and would further contribute to a class discussion at the end. So on the screen, I've displayed the draft of one of my students. I've provided the feedback and feed forward in red, where he has revised it and completed a final copy. It is evident he has a clear understanding of measuring different items, but he needs to be careful with his units and that he provides all his working out. So you can see that he's used my feedback with his final submission. You can see it here where he has very clearly shown all working out and the correct unit measurements. So that is here. Yeah. So from the draft to the final copy, you can see that the student has taken the feedback to provide full and clear working out. I just said that. All of the working out completed by a student is displayed. And this shows the evidence of impact I've made through my teaching. So from the diagnostic, you can see he was unable to calculate permanent area, and through the first formative assessment, he was slowly starting to get the concept. He was making a few mistakes. However, he still did a pretty good job. And then with his final formative assessment with his draft, he was able to calculate it all correctly. However, he didn't provide full working out, in which he did in his final submission, so his final copy. So you can see the huge improvement between his diagnostic and his final formative, where he has shown strong understanding of concepts, accurate calculations, and full working out. So lastly, on the screen I have displayed my tracking sheet, where on the left-hand side is the diagnostics, where I have identified the student's needs of more work in perimeter and area and showing more working out. And on the right-hand side, you can see that majority of them really progressed and they understood the concepts. However, there were these 2 students, and we have these 3 students who were away, in which I would work closely with to ensure that they were also confident in the content. An improvement that I could have done is incorporating technology using online quizzes such as Kahoot. Use of online quizzes such as Kahoot provides students with a variety of positive learning outcomes, including motivation to complete tasks, increased participation in class discussion, and improved performance on exams and material covered both in the quizzes and in class. So my final slide is just the references I used in this presentation. And thank you for watching.